The makeup department ran out of blood by episode 3.
Yeah.
By episode 3, they were out.
Look, the supply chain issues affected us all. We ran out of blood.
Yeah, we ran out of blood.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I have a weird question to start off with, but I have to be honest and tell you that one of the things I love most about this show is that it's not afraid to kill people off. Like some of my favorite, most memorable, brutal deaths in TV history, I feel like happen on this show. So for each of you, would you rather your character survives all the way to the end of the show, or would you rather get to act in a really great, awesome, brutal, bloody death scene that we remember forever?
Yeah, dude, I got bills to pay. I want to be here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
To the end, please.
I mean,
I want to have both.
I so badly want that moment where Homelander dies. I'm just speaking in terms of your character.
I mean, I feel like all of us want to stay to the
God.
end, but also
Yes.
if you're gonna go out, you might as well go out in a really cool way.
I'm gonna be completely honest. If I take like a witness perspective, I think because Starlight is one of the very few characters who is the symbol of goodness, I don't think we can kill her. I just simply don't think we can. I don't want to see her dead.
That's like a challenge. You've just put a challenge down to Eric and the writers. They're like, oh, really?
Yeah, that would be...
Unkillable, is that right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, would be quite a twist. I love twists, though, so maybe do kill her.
I had a really frightening moment in season 1 when my heart stops.
Right.
And I was reading the script, I remember. It's the fight between Kimiko and Black Noir, and he beats the shit out of me. And I'm reading, and then it says, she's dead. And so I called my boyfriend, and I was in a panic. I was like, I'm dead! Like, I can't believe it. It's only season 1, and I'm dead. And then the next page, I turn over, and then it was like, oh, and she comes back to life.
You called your boyfriend before you turned the page?
No, yes, of course. I was like in full panic. I had like tears in my eyes. I was like, I can't believe it. So yeah, I had a really big scare, and I would not like to go through that again.
No.
There is no redemptive path for Homelander. He is goods damaged beyond repair, and so I would selfishly, Anthony, the actor, would like to hang around because this is one of the most enjoyable jobs that I've had with the coolest bunch of people that I've met. So I feel very fortunate and blessed, and I want it to keep going. But I think in terms of story, at some point, Homie needs to get his comeuppance. I have no idea where they'd take that. But I'll tell you the other thing is whenever I think I know what they're going to do on this show, they do the opposite. So
Correct.
Jury's out, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it. And that's also why I love the weekly release date, but that's a whole other conversation. But speaking of that, it's true. Honestly, God, I think we need to go back to that for all shows. One of the things I most loved about this show, really from the very beginning, is that it asked this really fun question of what if Superman were kind of an asshole? And that's it's obviously the show is much deeper than that, but that's such a great question because we as a society so often look up to celebrities without really knowing them. Yeah. You guys are in the industry, so you get to meet all kinds of famous people. Have you ever met someone that you've really admired and looked up to, worshipped, and then learned that they were kind of an asshole?
The never meet your hero.
Buddy,
kind of thing.
Sadly, there is, I'm not going to mention who it is, but there was someone that I found out, it's someone I really admire, and I found out their political beliefs are beyond moronic. And in my opinion, to each their own. How diplomatic is that? But, there is right and wrong. I don't care what anyone says. There is right and wrong. And he was outright wrong. And it was just, it's crushing. I think you're better off not to meet them.
Yeah, I've met a lot of heroes that were lovely. I've heard of some of my heroes being not so lovely, and so I never want to cross paths with them because I don't want to ruin that illusion that I have, and I don't want to ruin that admiration that I have for them, but it's a very real thing.
I do want to talk about the days when you're covered in blood for a shot, because I've been lucky enough to be on sets before, so I know they can be really long days. There's a lot of waiting around. There's a lot of multiple takes. So when it's all of that, but you're covered in this like fake sticky blood, how do the bloody days compare to the others? Like, what's the biggest difference on set whenever you're covered in blood?
It depends on the day. It's like, I know that Huey had a lot of bloody moments, especially in the first 2 seasons, and I feel like if the scene is I get covered in blood and then we time cut to something else when he's clean, that's fine with me. It's like, you know, you get covered in blood, you reset. It's a lot to clean off, but you reset if you need to. But the days, especially around the whale, where we had to come in for weeks already in blood, that was hard. Like, you have to just stay in that all day. You stick to everything. It's so uncomfortable. Your hair becomes this, like, hard helmet, just caked in blood. Those are rough days.
Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how much you wash and shower, you know, at the end of the day, you wake up the next morning and you get up and you look at your sheets and there's still some residue of blood that has somehow escaped your notice. So yeah, it's a fun challenge.
I feel like once we get into the groove of filming in blood, you kind of start to forget about it in a way.
I don't.
You don't, yeah.
I don't at all.
You know, but yeah, I mean, it's just every day covered in blood. And so I think one time I like went out to a bar afterwards and I forgot that it was still like in my hair and like trickling down my face. And, you know, the waitress goes, oh, she just kind of looks at me. She doesn't really say anything because I think it was just so much that it, you know, you don't really want to like ask at that point. But yeah, I've had moments like those, yeah.
We actually, the makeup department ran out of blood by episode 3.
Yeah.
By episode 3, they were out.
Look, the supply chain issues affected us all. We ran out of blood.
Yeah, we ran out of blood.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.